Beautiful, Yaakov. Thank you. I think somebody already gave some tear matching before your speech was even over. Thank you, whoever that was. A key component of JHD outreach is a focus on our youth. Too many Jewish children in Long Island are not benefiting from a Jewish education or exposure to Torah Judaism. In 2002, we opened our Hebrew school to reach these very children and their families. We were aided in this endeavor by the magnanimous support of Rick Stone, a successful attorney involved in many Jewish communal causes in New York, Florida, and Israel. In 2008, Rick and his siblings dedicated the Hebrew school in the memory of their father, Stuart Stone, a passionate proponent of Jewish values and education. Suffering a stroke in his early 40s, he remained paralyzed on the right side for the rest of his life. Although every day was a struggle, he continued to live a full and active life, practicing law undeterred for 2 more decades and attending temple regularly until the time of his death. For 8 years, the Stuart Stone Hebrew School introduced hundreds of unaffiliated Jewish youth and their parents to the rich traditions and practices of the Torah life and values that Stuart embodied. In 2015, the Stuart Stone Hebrew School moved to Merrick, where it was able to reach even more families and greatly expand its programming. Integrating the Hebrew School to our JFI Long Island Division and Congregation Ohev Shalom of Merrick has given the Hebrew School widespread recognition for its innovation, excitement, and experiential Judaism. Our relationship with the Stone family also grew when Debbie Stone Mishan joined our women's trips to Israel and became an active participant and host of ongoing follow-up programming. Recently, the Stones suffered another loss with the passing of their dear mother, Mrs. Eileen Stone. Eileen will always be remembered for her abiding concern for all who she came in contact with. Tonight, the Stone family is rededicating our newly expanded Hebrew school as the Stuart and Eileen Stone Hebrew School of the Jewish Heritage Center. How fitting a legacy for both of their parents. With the generous support of the Stone family, Stuart and Eileen's special attributes and passionate values will be perpetuated on a daily basis through the education of the next generation of Jewish children in Long Island. To get a glimpse of the excitement found weekly at the Stuart and Eileen Stone Hebrew School, I ask you to please turn your attention to the video. As I call Mr. Rick Stone up to say a few words, please join me in expressing our heartfelt appreciation to the family of Stuart and Eileen Stone.
Good evening. On behalf of my family, welcome. Tonight I am honored to perpetuate the memory of my parents, Stuart and Eileen Stone, by making their legacy a permanent part of the Jewish Heritage Center. I've known Rabbi Portnoy for almost 25 years, through good and bad, and at all times he's been my friend, my rabbi, and my rock. When he first proposed that we help expand and permanently name a Hebrew school, I was reluctant because I live in Florida and the Hebrew school is going to be in New York, and I don't live in New Jersey either. After my dear dad's death nearly 10 years ago, I reconsidered and we began building a Hebrew school on Long Island. The Hebrew school has become a fixture on Long Island where I grew up and where my parents lived their lives. Thank you, Rabbi Portnoy and Rabbi Turk, for your time, thoughtfulness, and energy in growing the Stuart Stone Hebrew School. Tonight, we take the next step. We honor my mother, Eileen Stone, a dedicated mother and the longest-serving social worker in Nassau County, Long Island. She lived her life working with poor families and making sure that every kid in Nassau County had a safe place to live and thrive. And so it is entirely fitting that today we rename the Jewish Heritage Hebrew School for both of my parents. The the Stuart and Eileen Stone Hebrew School. The school will be a permanent legacy to my parents.
This man.
Importantly, a permanent home for a thriving center for Jewish learning, community, and spirituality. Please join me in officially dedicating the Jewish Heritage Hebrew School in honor of my mom and dad, the Stuart and Eileen Stone Hebrew School.